Hello. I'm a day later than I was expecting to be, but I'm here now with the first of my 8 NFL division previews, and I'm going to be starting with the NFC South, as with the request by Dark Age of, uh, who wanted to see the NFC South or NFC North first. But I'm hesitating on doing the North because a certain quarterback won't announce if he's playing or not. So I am going to start with the NFC South, and I'm basically going to do this pretty simply. Just go through the teams, talk about their record last year and the changes they've made and how those changes will affect this year, basically. So I know I'm not an insider or anything, so that's really the best I can do. I'm just the guy who picks the games. So starting with and I'm going to go in order from last to first. So I'm going to start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who were 3-13 in 2009. Just remind ourselves how the draft went. They got Gerald McCoy, a defensive tackle, who should help out a bit on defense. They really didn't make a whole lot of other moves too. They got what else did they get? They got somebody from Philadelphia that was they got Reggie Brown from Philadelphia. That's right. And yeah, I don't really see them. It could be a game of musical quarterbacks all year. Josh Freeman. I think Josh Freeman has the most upside, but he could split a lot of the time with Josh Johnson. It's basically the way it was last year. Brian Leftwich was the starter last year. He's gone now. But and then Johnson took over, and then Freeman. Like they had 3 different starting quarterbacks last year, and it could be pretty much the same story. Although I think Freeman is the favorite to start the season as the starting quarterback. So with all that inconsistency and the fact that they didn't make a whole lot of moves, I don't see them getting a whole lot better. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll move on to the next one. The Carolina Panthers finished 3rd. They were an even 8-8, and out of the 4 teams in the division, Carolina was the team that probably made the most significant moves. Like Jake Delhomme was their starting quarterback last year until he got hurt, and then Matt Moore took over. And Delhomme has left to go to the Cleveland Browns this year, so pretty much it is Matt Moore's baby. And he doesn't have a lot of experienced backup. Like Jimmy Clausen, the 2nd-round pick this year, is probably going to be the number 2 guy, I would think. And it wasn't just Delhomme that left; it was Julius Peppers, probably one of the best defensive ends in the league, one of the most defensive linemen, really. A.J. Feely, the other backup quarterback, also left to go to the Rams. Muhsin Muhammad retired, one of their top receivers. Pretty much every quarterback they had last year, except for Moore, left the team. So Matt Moore is being backed up by a couple of rookies. So going to be a lot of inexperience going on. One of their other top receivers, Steve Smith, is currently injured. I don't know how long he's going to be out. So Matt Moore is going to be throwing to a lot of inexperienced receivers. They still have D'Angelo Williams at running back, probably the most experienced player they have. There's going to be a whole lot of inexperience going on in Carolina, and I don't know, it's probably going to be a backwards year for them. I don't know if it's backwards enough to put them below where the Buccaneers are, but it's pretty backwards. So yeah, it's probably going to depend on, depending on how well Matt Moore does. He did have a couple of good starts last year. But all in all, I think it's going to be, well, it's not going to be 8-8. I'm pretty sure of that. So, get back to Tampa Bay and Carolina in a bit. We'll move up to the 2nd place team last year, which was the Atlanta Falcons, who finished 9-7 and were like just this close away from a wild card berth. Philadelphia kind of snuck up on them. But I don't think Philadelphia's in the picture this year, so I think Atlanta's got a good chance. A good chance. Not a perfect chance, but a good chance to get a wild card team this year. They didn't make a lot of changes either. They did pick up Tony Gonzalez, who was pretty much a Kansas City cheat for life. But he's on the Atlanta Falcons now, and nice. It gives them a good short receiving option. Everything else is pretty much consistent. I mean, Matt Ryan is still a quarterback. He's doing a great job. What else? Michael Turner, running back. Yeah, everyone did a good job last year. They just pretty much fell short. So, I'm predicting about the same for the Falcons. Maybe like one win more, like a 9-7, 10-6, and they will contend for a wild card spot, I'm sure. Which brings us to the top team in the NFC South, and in fact the top team in the NFL last year, the Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints. And it's tough to bet against them because they pretty much didn't make any moves at all. And it's tough to bet against a championship team that stays the course going into the next season. So there's not really much I can say there. I think the Saints win the division again easily. And I think the Falcons are the number 2 team easily. So the only mystery, which is as redundant as it is probably who finishes 3 and who finishes 4. And I'm inclined to think Tampa Bay will be a teensy bit better, just a teensy bit, than Carolina, because at least Tampa Bay's team is still kind of together from last year. There'll be some more chemistry, and Carolina's just all over the place with inexperience. So, I mean, Carolina could finish 3rd. Matt Moore could break out and have a good season, but right now I'm thinking they're both terrible, pretty much. But I'm predicting Tampa Bay to be a little bit better. And I think they will finish 3rd, and I think Carolina will be at the bottom of the NFC South this year. So, yeah, that's what I think, and we'll see how it goes over the course of the season. I've got 7 more divisions to review. Look for my next video about Sunday. I hope it'll be Sunday, maybe Monday. But, yeah, that's the way I see it in the NFC South this year. Keep sending your requests if you want to. Dark Age Up is the only one who sent a request, so still lots of divisions I could review, and if you want to see yours next, maybe I'll do it. And, yeah, I will see you next time. Goodbye.